people kind of want to share something of their own life, which I kind of welcome because, there's plenty of places you go where you don't get that. So it's giving something
Yeah.
else as well, a little bit of, because I am a therapist, right? So it's kind of natural to me to, I'm a kind of listener. Yeah, I'm sort of curious about their lives as well. So it's more, there's discussion as well. And yeah, but there's always someone else who's awake there as well. So
Okay.
it's just interesting, I think, like comparing, like other people, their impressions, and especially if they haven't been immersed in the non-dual kind of world and they've got their own kind of fresh, insights and stuff.
Welcome to Silence 80 Speak, the podcast where timeless wisdom meets the present moment. I'm your host, Sukhdev Virdee, and in each episode, we delve into the profound teachings of non dual masters, those who have transcended the boundaries of duality and reveal the simplicity of existence. Join us on this journey beyond words as we explore the essence of being with those who have realized the truth that goes beyond language, beyond thought. Open your mind, silence your chatter, and let the wisdom of silent sages resonate within you. Today, my guest is a transpersonal integrative psychotherapist from the UK who regularly conducts meetings online on non duality in London and does mentoring, one on one mentoring and coaching as well. She's beautiful, she's gorgeous, but more importantly, you'll find her very authentic and passionate about sharing her wisdom with others. I'd like to welcome to the show Dawn Garland. Welcome to the show, Dawn.
Hi, Jeff. Great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for taking out the time to be here. Uh, I've watched quite a lot of your videos on YouTube. I've been seeing the meetings that you conduct. I want to start with this the title that you have on your website. What is a transpersonal integrative psychotherapist?
Well, it's, you can kind of ignore the transpersonal if you want. So integrative just means that you're kind of taught on all the different modalities. So Jungian, Freudian, Kleinian, humanistic, existential, what else?
Wow.
Whatever, so it's basically, yeah, you've got a kind of broad overview of all things. Transpersonal is just, you're kind of using things like visualizations
Okay.
and sort of, different exercises to sort of to get insights, and also it takes on board the non-dual. So that's kind of, kind of, people kind of get that there as well. So
Okay.
it's kind of understood. There's a lot of people who've had glimpses and stuff, so it's kind of integrated into it, if you like. But you can just take it as, I mean, one person can take it as art exercises, the next person can take it as insights or transpersonal, and and yeah, so anything basically under the term
All right.
spirituality. It's
Great,
like,
great, great, great. It's a broad, it's quite a broad term which covers a lot of stuff, and you include
yeah.
non-duality because you already teach non-duality as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can ignore what you like. I mean, it depends
Okay,
what someone
okay.
brings, right? I
Let's
mean,
go back to the
I,
start. Tell me, you were born in England itself. Have you always been spiritual since you were young? Walk us through how you came into spirituality and finally into non-duality.
no, I wasn't. I was born in Northern Ireland, and
Okay. Yeah.
um, no, I mean, spirituality, I mean, I didn't have many experiences as a child. I was just, I had lots of kind of scary experiences, maybe when I was a kid. I saw lights in the dark, stuff like that. I, I saw a lot of things. So I was quite, my mum used to sit by my bed when I went to sleep, and I'd be looking around the room. There were these people called the painters that I used to see. So maybe a disturbed child, I don't know. Um, it wasn't really till I was 19 I started getting a lot of like lucid dreams. I mean, that was it really. Just every night I was getting lucid dreams. It got me kind of interested in what was kind of going on. I was reading things like Journeys Out of the Body by Robert Monroe, I think, and got into Aldous Huxley, Doors of Perception, and so it's kind of stuff on the periphery of non-duality. I didn't know what that was, particularly, but I was interested and got into a bit of Western philosophy, Nietzsche, Schopenhauer, Heidegger, people like that. And then I took LSD and I had an experience of love, but of course the person was there. It wasn't, it wasn't transformative in that sense, but it's just the sort of, I was on the beach and I was with my boyfriend, and we were on the cliff faces was painted "God is love," and we were just both in the same space, just like, oh, like, wow, yes, yes, yes.
Uh,
So, and then it all kind of went underground. I came over to London to live, and I lost touch with all. I wasn't so interested in that kind of stuff, and yeah, so it wasn't again until so I just sort of turned 30. I was I became suicidal, and I decided this all sounds like kind of mad now, but at the time, like, one thing I still liked, I'd kind of given up on life at this stage. I was just like, how can anyone live in this world? Like, it's so unlivable, it's so hard, and we die, and it makes no sense. So it was very existential. It was just, it didn't make any sense to me. It wasn't worth it, and I didn't like the fact I'd been born. So I just didn't want to be here, and I decided to write 1,000 poems and kill myself. That was, whoa.
okay.
And I did. So well, I did every week I'd write 5 poems. And during this time I met my partner for the next 10 years. He was a successful comic artist. And just when I met him, I said to him, I've got about a year left to live. He was just like, oh, that's fine, whatever. But on the last day, I wrote my last poem. I woke up in a bliss state after a dream by an author that I'd never heard of, Henry Miller. And I just woke up. The first thing I did was text my boyfriend Kevin. I was like, have you heard of Henry Miller? And we went to the bookshop. We found out he's an author. And anyway, I hadn't heard of his work, and indeed it was him. I recognized him from the dream. The dream was on the date of the anniversary of his death, and I loved his work. And he felt like an ally, someone who was there for the next. But there was the bliss state lasted, if it was a bliss state, but maybe a couple of weeks, just feeling like just at ease with everything. And
Yeah.
I sort of sensed there's something else here. There's something else going on, but I didn't know what it was. So that was kind of like the beginning of seeking, maybe. Although
Okay.
I didn't come across non-duality. So there's a wee bit of, I was just kind of looking at the kind of more mainstream Jung, a little bit of Rosicrucianism, like just, I didn't come across the right stuff, but it was just this sense there's something else. And that kind of sustained me to some extent, although I did try to kill myself after that. But so it wasn't. And then the big sort
Um,
of shift was, in 2012. No, so
yeah,
but
we're glad you didn't kill yourself, and you're here to guide so many other people. Um, you're talking about college time now. When you're 19, you had a boyfriend, and you're at the mountain, the beach, all that stuff. That's around your teenage in your college years.
yeah, well, I was at university twice. So I went to Queen's University in Belfast. I
Yeah.
kind of messed that up. And then I went university again over here in England. And so I did a psychology degree. I didn't mess that up, which is good. Yeah, so yeah, it was around
So
college.
yeah, after that, then so you seem to have had the mystical experiences, probably, which were explainable. And did that get you intrigued into anything to do with spirit, or did it push you to spirituality, or did you think of other ways of finding out what happened? When you have synchronicities, you have dreams which come true, like you said, it can
Mhm.
push you to other subjects as well. So did it bring you to spirituality or anything else, or did you just stumble upon this?
I feel like I didn't really stumble. I mean, I only heard of it, of non-duality. I only really knew what it was, or knew what it was, but a couple of months before the shift. So like, after the bliss, after that experience of waking up and everything, being okay for a couple of weeks, I found myself in a really horrific, a situation where I was kind of homeless, and and I kind of took a really dark path. So I would say, not really dark path, but um, for a few years I lived on the edge, and it was kind of what I would see as maybe my hero's journey, or I went deeper into life, and so it was kind of like it became like from creating art in the form of poetry to life as art in a way, if I look at it in
Wow.
a positive way. But I lived very kind of extreme, and I was just very carefree. I didn't give a
Yeah.
rat's about anything. I just didn't. So it was very excessive. But I was very into life, but it was like living for the day, kind of just, like almost as if living every day as your last, maybe not as extreme as that, but and not giving a damn about social norms and all, just,
Yeah.
yeah, it was crazy. Really
It's
crazy.
you might think that is crazy, but that's absolutely what I think that we should be doing in life. It's living fearlessly, completely. And
Yes.
you are here to experience every joy and every emotion. It could be good or bad, painful, and you're here to experience all of them. You know, uh, s-
Yeah. But it was
so
more, it's different, I think, from the awaken, being absorbed by life or being really present, because it was more intrigue. It was collecting experiences, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. In some ways I feel like I had to go through that. It was good for me because I wanted to live like you've lived as a pop star. I wanted to live. I wanted to
yeah,
every opportunity I got, I took, and I had plenty of those. And I didn't let fear did not
yeah,
stop me. And I think I grew strong, but it was an ego strength. And then
mhm,
I started to fall apart because, it's that whole thing, Nietzschean thing of like, that which does not break me makes me stronger.
yeah.
That starts to break down at a certain point, and I was starting to fall apart. I was starting to get panic attacks. And life was just stripping me bare at that point. It was, yeah, it was kind of humbling. Like, so,
You spoke about the shift and before and after the shift. I didn't ask you about. Do you remember the shift and what was it like and what difference was there like? Was it an instantaneous shift or was it a gradual one?
it's really hard to say because the whole week was very, very weird. Like, if you say about before and after, um, I mean, it was just stepping out. I've described it as stepping into sanity, because the story just the problems, the suffering, the struggle, all of that was just gone, and
Yeah,
it left no trace, and there was nothing to look back to either. It wasn't like, oh, look, it's gone. It's just, it was gone, and there was just what was. And yeah, and everything, yeah, there was just no looking back.
wow.
There was,
Did
it
did
was
did you
just,
not have any when I went through it, it was like after living the life which I was so ambitious about and becoming a star and becoming a being on television, performing in front of thousands of people, working so hard towards that, and then you come and realize, oh my God, none of it was real. None of it was real. In fact, who I thought I was is not real. And there is the I had that I had the it was like almost it is letting go of your entire life that you have lived as a lie.
yeah, but also it's so beautiful where you are as well. Like,
Of
that
course.
whole, it's so rich that nothing could better, especially initially in those beautiful, like, first few, I don't know, a couple of years or whatever. Like, it's so,
Yeah,
nothing can seduce you out of that, and none of that stuff, and it mattered. So yeah, it really is a coming home. It really is that sort
yeah.
of
We would never
fulfillment.
never trade to go back to the life that was there before. You're talking about the period. You talk about it as I think in one of your videos you mentioned the honeymoon period when you were staring at plates and trees and not talking much. Is this what you're talking about right after the shift? Where
Yeah.
it's like everything is just bliss, and you said that lasted for about 2 weeks. Is that the period you're
Oh, no,
talking
no,
about?
no, no, God, no, no. That the 2 weeks was the after the Henry Miller experience. I mean, the bliss was going on for a few years,
Oh,
maybe five.
wow.
Just anything. I mean, it would vary in intensity. Just some
Yeah.
states of absorption, like, and I just noticed this, because it happened in May, so I could sit outside. It was sunny. and it was just, you know, when sitting, you seem to drop so much more. So it was just, yeah, just looking, and yeah, and it's
And
so
looking at
not
I've
enjoyable.
done that a lot. Just stand and stare. You don't even know you're staring at something, and you're just lost, and it looks like you're staring at something for a few minutes, or maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It could be
Yeah,
seen.
and it's hard to connect because I find it difficult to kind of read, or I wasn't interested in stuff I had been interested in. I didn't want to watch movies, or, you know, occasionally at nighttime, because I was living on my own, and I spent a lot of time on my own, and sometimes I just listen to the radio, to music, and but I just, yeah, words, it seemed so redundant for quite a long time. It's quite difficult to focus as well when it came to anything. I don't know, maybe your left brain, you know, left side, the sort of linguistic side of the brain kind of shuts down quite a lot, maybe. I
Yeah,
don't know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it just, and also, yeah, and in relationship as well, it's the kind of presence, that kind of just, the words seem sort of secondary to anything that was just going on. Just that connection, the love,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, which is beautiful. It's really nice sitting with someone and just really
It's yeah,
connecting, and
just
especially when
being.
they're open. Yeah, just being, yeah, and when they're open, you can also, when you meet someone who's also in the same space, you can really drop together, which is quite
Yeah.
lovely. So I experienced quite a lot of
Right.
that. And, yeah, so
So tell
which is,
how did you understand this was non-duality? Did you have any books? Did you have any videos that you watch? Any spiritual teachers? Maybe this Eckhart Tolle, Rupert Spira, Moody, any of these? Or how did you know this is what non-dual awareness or consciousness or whatever it is this is it? Oh,
well, I mean, when the whole thing took, I didn't really know what it was for a long time, but I had come across it because a friend of mine had gotten into it the same sort of time, you know, a couple of months before the shift. So I had seen a little bit of maybe Eckhart Tolle. Um, I'd seen a couple of videos, Alan Watts, maybe
yeah,
bits and
yeah, yeah,
pieces,
yeah.
and then yeah, but even intellectually, I don't think I really got a handle on this, and you know, and I hadn't really been to many meetings. I went to a few once it kind of happened, and then, but not really before. No, just one before, because I did hang out with a non-dual teacher for a week maybe before, and the heart opening happened when I was with him, which was interesting, but
Wow.
almost instantaneously, which was,
Can you describe that? What because I think different people describe it in different ways. Heart opening. Was yours like, or what does it
oh, well,
feel
my
like?
interpretation of a heart opening, because it was just, I think we went to a cafe and in Soho and sat down, and I just, sat forward, and I looked into his eyes, and for a split second, and it just felt like this iron gate had been opened on my chest, like this huge weight, and suddenly love was kind of pouring in, and just, yeah, that sort of lasted for a week, and then it kind of deepened, and there was, you know, and other experiences kind of happened, and then there was this kind of
Okay.
whatever disappearance, sort of. Mm.
You seem to have had many of these kind of experiences. Did you ever think about why they're happening, or were they just a normal part of your life?
Well, what you mean, prior to the shift thing,
No, no.
or?
Since like your teenage years till now, the way you have described so many mystical, different experiences. Heart opening doesn't happen to everybody. No, not a lot of people. Kundalini awakening. Talking about the shift. So many of these uh, experiences which are not common to everybody. Did your family think that this was common or this was normal, or did you talk to
Um,
anybody about them? Because they are not common, obviously.
well, I did mention it to my brother. He's a Hare Krishna, and yeah, so he kind of got what I was saying, and so, yeah, he lives in India. Yeah, because I know he got that when he was reading the Bhagavad Gita, which I know is precious to you. Like, he just recognized it straight away, or it made sense to him. And my dad's Well, my dad always described being connected to something within that he couldn't articulate, and my mum expressed something like a glimpse. So she'd hate me saying this, terrible visionary kind of experiences as well, but seen through a kind of Christian framework. So,
Yeah.
and I think my brothers had, my other brothers had experiences, but much more kind of different. And my sister gets a lot of no mind stuff. So I think a lot of people get a lot of stuff like, in my experience. Um, it's more common, like from
Okay.
all the surveys done as well. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I mean, I do think a lot of people get them, but not a lot of people pay attention to them. It's like, oh, okay, it's gone. I mean, I don't know what that was. And then you
yeah.
carry on with life. After another few years, something else happens, and you say, oh no, okay. And then you carry on. Everyone's busy in their lives. They forget these experiences. Only a few people would go on to seek or find out what was that? What have other people undergone that? I remember you spoke about your brother. Yeah, he's in India. Is he in India now?
Yeah, he lives in Hyderabad, and
Oh,
yeah,
okay, okay,
he's married.
great.
Yeah.
And speaking about these experiences, you also mentioned you took LSD, and this is uh, from a person who's never taken LSD's point of view. Does it really help in awakening, as a lot of people have proclaimed that it does?
Um, I don't know, because I forgot about the experience I had was,
Okay,
afterwards. And I think a lot of people, it maybe it does. It gives them a sense of, like, is it 5-EMO DMT, gives an experience of no self. I don't know. I have no idea how they experience that, or, so I mean, some people find it helpful. I have no opinion on it. I really don't know.
yeah,
I mean, I did take mushrooms afterwards.
okay, okay,
And I didn't get a lot out of that, to be honest. Um, and ayahuasca, not a lot, but yeah, it was just, oh, right,
yeah,
empty, no thought, a big deal. I don't know.
okay.
So yeah.
I know it's quite temporary. The kind of experiences it gives you, from what I've read and what I've heard, it does help you transcend the ego and then see reality as it is, and feeling connected with everything at once. Just like lucid dreaming, it gives you those kind of experiences, but then it's not permanent. It's something that comes and
Yeah, of
then
course.
goes. Have you heard of Ramdas?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Harvard. Yeah. So he
Yeah.
he was exploring with the experimenting with psychedelics in Harvard University, and then he got tired of going high and coming back down. He said, "I need to find a permanent solution to this," and that's how he came to India and met his guru, who took a whole bunch of LSD and ate it, and nothing happened to him.
Oh, right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, you
Okay.
should some of his videos. He talks about, one of those little pills was enough to, keep you high for a few hours, and this guru of mine, Neem Karoli Baba, just grabbed a whole handful and put it all in his mouth, and nothing happened to him.
Oh, right.
Mm.
Well, okay. Similar experience after waking up. I was taking stuff, but I mean, you can only, it levels out at a certain point how much you take, doesn't it? I mean, you
Yeah,
can't, whatever. Yeah, but it's interesting that. But I wouldn't
yeah.
write someone off if they do. I mean, some people get really interesting.
Yeah,
So
after that I heard his verdict on that was, it's good to have an experience so that you know that that reality exists, but that's not the way to get to it, to make it permanent.
yeah, I don't. I think people do know, it is associated with a glimpse.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's known. It's just not. Yeah, people don't expect it to be
Okay,
permanent.
so
No, like,
tell me now, how did you come down to so many videos on YouTube, so many people, other people that you talk with about non-duality, classes that you take? I've seen group meetings at homes and online. How did you get into teaching it?
oh, right. Well, I think initially, it was Emerson was doing stuff during lockdown,
Ah,
and I was with Richard Sylvester at the time, and we ended up doing something together. And yeah, so we did a few things on that, and then I started doing my own once that was over. So yeah, that's how it started. It just, if you're asking about why, do you want to know why?
No, no.
Reasons.
What made you come out and start talking about it? Because when I went to it, because I had this image of a pop star. I didn't want that image to change into like now a spiritual teacher or a non-dualist teacher. I would have probably lost out work that was already coming regarding music. So I wasn't ready to go out and talk about it. And then there
Oh
was a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
point where I just did not want to do anything at all. I just did not even want to step out of home. And now I just got the urge, I have to come out and talk about this, regardless of what anyone thinks. So did you have,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it was when my second Kundalini awakening kicked off.
Hmm.
So you know, I think after the first one, because the first big, funny enough, I always had a fear of hell. I thought during my adult life that I was going to go to hell, and I couldn't explain it. And I remember bringing it to therapy, and the therapist didn't know what to do with it. Like, so anyway, but my first big Kundalini experience in 2019 was an experience of hell after going to heaven, and I met Satan. So I had the experience of terrifying, absolutely terrifying experience of Satan trying the seduction, the temptation kind of scenario. And the the upshot of that, a lot of my repressed material, stuff I didn't realize, basically my spiritual bypass became really
Yeah.
clear. So a lot of stuff that was unconscious became conscious. So there was a shift in my personality after that, and it was like, oh my god, that wasn't what I thought it was. Just kind of joining the dots and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, I thought that was a kind of angle for me, because before that, I mean, I had nothing really to say. I mean, what do you say about this? But some people are very good about saying nothing, aren't they? They're very good at that. But so I sort of thought that's why I would kind of focus on the integration, or like it's okay, you know, after awakening may be stuff you want to look at, and permission to do that, because stuff can bubble up afterwards, and it can be
Yeah.
a real shock energetically, or just you might just recognize, oh, hold on, I'm still living the same life, and I don't want to be living that. And because it's like, after NDEs, people, there's like the divorce rate is like 80% or something. It's really
Oh,
high, because
okay.
and I think it's similar with this, like your
Yeah.
person, you're so much calmer, you don't care about the same things, your habits are probably going to change, you might change your career. And so, but if you remain stuck, I don't know, that's probably, it's not great, but I'm sure a lot of people do. And maybe the old habits as well, like and maybe they don't even recognize it, like, because you're not suffering in the same way, so there's not that necessarily that impetus to change. I mean,
Yeah.
there wasn't with me. It's like, all right, this sucks, but it's so nice. It's a weird paradox, isn't it? Like, you're kind of suffering, but you're not suffering at all, like it's zero, and yet it's kind of awful. It's
Yeah,
really strange, but
I was gonna ask you that. How would you describe, non-duality, living in non-duality now? And yeah, it's beautiful. Keep going with that.
well, I mean, the thing is with change as well. So you change in those habits. I've come across like scenarios, things that I wouldn't have been capable of before, but they come with new problems, and
Yeah,
and some of that's been really difficult, as well. So it's really, it's yeah, life can be tough, because you can coast on this for a long time, like, can't you? You can just dine out in the bliss, man, and sit. But I think I think you said it before, like, something moves you. You're at some stage, maybe you're kind of moved, as I was, particularly after these Kundalini experiences, because I started getting visions every night. That wasn't a vision; it was interdimensional experiences. So they were kind of like just being in different realities, and then, but every night there were visions. So I was waking up into different, sometimes just different, like, skyscapes and like planets, and but the most beautiful colors. And it's just, oh,
wow.
inspiring, just beautiful. And that went on for quite a while. So then now it's just calmed down. It's just once every 6 weeks or something, I get like an out of body experience or something like that. And but I think it does shake my body up a bit. Just like, you know, so
Wow, wow. Now, I've never had a Kundalini awakening now, and I'm hearing it from you for the first time that you've had it a couple of times. How does it happen?
yeah.
I thought it happens if it happens once, that's it. It's energy that rises from the bottom of the spine right up to your head, brain, and that's it. How would it happen twice?
Well, before the awakening, there was, well, maybe you could just call them, I don't know, like spiritual experiences. I was getting kriyas, but gentle kriyas, and then I was
Okay.
getting some of the experiences I had just before the awakening, like I think I described being on the tube and seeing that everybody's awake and seeing the veils and you know and being moved by kriyas and but it wasn't
By kriyas, you mean hand postures and movement, body postures?
yeah, but bodily postures that are very like yoga asanas, but
Yeah.
not the same. Yeah,
Okay.
just certain movements where the energy
Okay.
was, especially during an awakening, was just so beautiful, really, really beautiful. Um, yeah, like so some kind of illuminations experience, but then that kind of, I mean, the energy was still in the body, but I'd never had the light phenomenon like in 2019. It was just light in the dark. I could see inner light when my eyes were shut. There's light in the dark, um, but it was just very intense. So
Okay.
it was very, very visual, the experiences. And then to not last March, but the March before, I started getting out of body stuff, much more of that, where I was just kind of going in journeys out of the body, kind of. One that was quite well, two were quite near death like. So I saw my body lying in the bed, and you know I
Okay.
was dead as far as I was concerned, and four
Yeah.
beings came to collect me. Um, yeah, that was an Easter Sunday, I think. Four beings came through the wall, which was really odd. And took me. I knew I was going on to a better place. I knew I was dead, and I was contemplating my life, and thinking it was quite a short life, but that's all right. I'm going on to the next one. I don't
Oh
know.
wow.
Just,
You remember that
yeah,
because all the people who've had NEDs claim that this life that we probably feel is like so long, 20, 50, 70 years. From that point of view, it's like just like a blip. It's just so short. Is that what you
yeah.
felt at that
I
time?
see. Well, I would say it was a near-death like experience, and I think that's Dr. Yvonne Casson's term for you don't meet all the criteria for a full near-death experience. So I didn't get the tunnel, didn't get all
Okay.
these things, but I did get the beings. I did see my body dead. I did leave. I did think about my life, and I have experienced a tunnel.
Okay.
So yeah, so some of those characteristics, and obviously it has some effect on you
Yeah,
seeing
of
yourself
course.
from
Yes.
that from that angle. But and I'm just wondering how the hell I died. And feeling ambivalent about it. I was quite happy to go on, but I also, I've been quite happy to stay. So there was ambivalence about being dead, not very strong. It's all right.
You're
Yeah.
okay with it. That's fine.
As
Let's
as
move
long as I'm not
on.
going to hell, yeah, like that's fine.
Wow. Okay. Tell me, Dawn. Coming back to the way you got into talking about it after COVID, like you said, you met Emerson and you start talking about non-duality. Now, till date, you must have done so many of these kind of meetings. Tell me, what is the most common question or most common obstacle you find somebody who's trying to realize this or trying to find out more about non-duality? What are the obstacles they're facing, or how do you help somebody who's asking you some questions about everything being nothing.
Do I get those kind of? I mean, the questions are certainly not naive. I mean, most people who go to those meetings, very small meetings, a lot of them have had glimpses, and a couple of them usually awake as well, and so yeah, they can talk about things like I don't know, like there's not much coming to me after awakening. It's been interesting. We've had people talk about after awakening and being stuck maybe with lack of a motivation.
Yeah.
And that is a problem. I mean, it must be a problem if you're, because it's a joy at first, right? I mean, and then it
Yes.
must at some point, not for everyone, maybe for like Ramana Maharshi or something, it stays really cool, really good. I don't know, but it could get probably not boring, but just, you know, inertia, it's not a good place to be. So yeah, there's that. And people have talked about like the negative experiences during awakening, and I don't know, like it ranges all over the place, people's dreams,
Yeah.
experience. Because I kind of welcome anything really, and psychological
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
get too many of the kind of what can I do to make this happen? Like
Okay.
when I do, I find that kind of strange. Like, just like,
Yeah, I thought you
um,
would get those kind of people who are, like, I want to be in the state that you are in. If you're describing this as peace and it's eternal, it's all the time, and you would give up anything for this, I would want to be there. How do I get there? Or how can I do the same realization? Or just, I mean, tell me what to do. And that's actually the cat. There is nothing you can do. But still, the person who doesn't know it says, okay, fine, but still, tell me what to do.
yeah, yeah, okay. But also like, it's because I'm interested in what they say as well, and it's curious
Yeah.
here and there, you know, and everyone's kind of bringing something, aren't they? Like the people kind of want to share something of their own life, which I kind of welcome because, you know, there's plenty of places you go where you don't get that. So it's giving something
Yeah.
else as well, a little bit of, because I am a therapist, right? So it's kind of natural to me to, I'm a kind of listener. Yeah, I'm sort of curious about their lives as well. So it's more, there's discussion as well. And yeah, but there's always someone else who's awake there as well. So
Yeah.
it's just interesting, I think, like comparing, like other people, their impressions, and especially if they haven't been immersed in the non-dual kind of world and they've got their own kind of fresh, insights and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's quite exciting, isn't it? Because talks and stuff are they can be very samey, which is fair enough, like, but it's just nuances are interesting, aren't they? And how it affects the personal life, like the stuff that you don't hear, because everybody wants to know what's your relationship. Don't they want to know what happens behind the scenes? What do you like when you, in your
Yeah.
normal day-to-day life and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff? I mean, that's certainly what I want to know. Like, okay, back in the day, well, what's your relationships like? What's the difference internally? And because I used to assume that everybody was kind of blissed out and, the no mind thing as well, because but it's not like that for everyone, right? And
No.
some people can be quite angry at times, whatever, like, and so it does vary from person to person. You can't really assume anything about someone who's awake, except, I don't know.
Yeah.
There are differences, but I mean,
I
do
went
you
through that.
curious?
I went I went through that phase of where when I just realized nothing is real, and it was like, what's the point of doing anything at all then, There is no point. I didn't want to step out of home, and almost about 8 years I just did not do anything. And then I can't really pinpoint what made the urge to come out and start doing stuff. Ah, here it is. I actually thought, if there is no point of living, there's no way I'm gonna uh, uh, take this out of life out of this person. So I'm gonna let this person live till the end of his life. But let's make sure that he does what he can to help other people in any way that he can. That became the mission of my life, of this uh, after that. And so when I
I
came
suppose
out
so.
to start doing stuff, I started doing everything. So I still do my music. I talk about non-duality. I compose music. I'm still writing. So I'm not in a box. I can go and sweep the street, and I can go and dance on stage in front of 20,000 people. Right from that, all that.
And there's no difference to you, is it? Or is there a difference? No, so
Not at
you
all.
don't get, okay, all right, okay.
So
Eight years.
I could be washing the dishes. That's fine. It's as interesting as riding a horse or something.
Okay. All right. Is there anything you can't stand? Is there, are there nothing? Is it?
No, no, not at all. The best part of non-duality is, uh, you're okay with everything that's going on in the world, in the universe. Nothing can affect you, and it is meant to be the way it is. There's nothing wrong. The universe makes no mistakes, and everything is so synchronized. Imagine, with they call it. It's in Hinduism. It's called the Leela, a play, or it's
Yeah.
described as a dream or an illusion or a movie. All these words that describe unreal or false things. It's just like a movie. Now, if you are watching a movie or if you are to create a movie, a director, he would try to put all the emotions that he can in the movie. So the villain or the person who's bad is going to be so bad. The hero is going to be so good. The tragedy is going to be so really, tragic. Comedy is going to be so funny. Everything's going to be at the best, and that's what the universe is, the world is right now. And it's something, somebody who listens to this might say, oh, so what about the wars that are happening and people are dying? Those are the same things we go into a movie theater and see on screen and applaud, wow, what a war on movie. But this, we think this is real. So for me, everything's like that. I have no conflict with anything at all. It could be good or bad. Remember, good and bad is just in the mind.
Good luck. It's a
Wow.
funny thing though. I always sort of caution and like never say never, like because you don't know. Like some things aren't so great. Like I have had moments like situations where I've been really quite happy to get out of. Like I have to say that. But yeah, most things it's unpredictable as well. But most things, yeah, don't don't. But like yeah, but yeah,
That's
I mean
okay.
suffering
That's
can arise.
Yeah. That's like I said in the beginning. You're here to experience life, and if the way we've been taught, with the way we've been brought up and conditioned, that uh, seek pleasure and avoid pain. That's what life has always been. Try to avoid pain, but if you're here to experience everything, you are gonna have a mixture of both. Um,
Yeah, of
so
course.
try to enjoy both of them while they're happening. It's not pleasant to enjoy pain, but then go through the pain. Go through the pain so that it's when you come out of it, you've been through that experience. Go through the highs and the happiness that world everything has to offer. So don't deny yourself of any experience. We've been taught, stay away from bad things, try to seek only the good things, and that's not how life works.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. But yeah,
Yeah.
and you stayed in for 8 years. Like,
Uh,
but you were
I
indoors. I mean, that's what like
Yeah.
indoors.
Oh, okay.
In
Yeah. What happened is I cut off meeting my friends, going out, partying. All my friend circle slowly, stopped calling. I stopped calling them. I was engrossed in books at that time. I probably read over about maybe 600 books on non-duality.
oh
Watched
wow,
those
okay.
thousands of hours of videos on YouTube. Uh, I wanted my mind to be at peace with non duality, to understand it intellectually. Now, there's no point of understanding it
Oh, of course.
intellectually. There's no
But I
point.
get it. After, yeah, of
Yeah.
course, there's not. But it
Yeah.
was.
I just
But it's
wanted
kind of
it to
beautiful.
be. Yeah. Because the moment I speak to somebody about it, if I can't explain it, then they'll obviously think that this guy's lost it. He's talking about everything being nothing, and he's lost his
Oh, so
mind.
you made an art of it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that. You made an art of it. You know what you're talking about. That's kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
I get that. I think I was the opposite. I didn't want to read, but I'd been a reader, so for me it was kind of like maybe it was just the opposite was what was enjoyed because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
language was yeah something I'd love, but I just didn't give a rat's about. But yeah, oh, that's really
You know
wow.
you spoke about the period in your life when you were fearless.
Uh-huh.
That's how life is meant to be lived.
You don't want to
Moments
live
of
at
madness.
home. Don't do that at home. Fuck. Yeah, maybe not like that, but yeah.
Fearlessly. It's like saying, why would I go and do bungee jumping? Why would I dive into, you know, deep dive into the sea, or why would I do any dangerous, adventurous sports? It's for the thrill of it. That's why you're here. I mean, that.
See, I wouldn't get anything out of that. There's some for me. There's something like about bungee stuff like that that seems quite banal to me. I always did. Maybe I think I think I've got my yeah. I probably have my version of that, but it's not maybe not kind of that so much. But yeah, I suppose I'm less risk taking than I was maybe,
Yeah,
but I was very for a time. So maybe it's kind of balancing somehow as well because I don't feel the need to do that
yeah, yeah.
or but a wee bit, yeah. There's less fear of the future, obviously, because it's
Of
like,
course.
but I never really give a damn about the future, so it's really annoying because it's like,
There
and
is,
so I
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go on, go on.
yeah, I know, but do you know, like it's quite helpful if you've got, you go to university or whatever when you're young and you kind of had a vague idea, maybe, of what you would like, which is open to change. I never, I just drifted. I think, too much. I think that can be a result of trauma as well, where some kind of version of the trauma where you just kind of just don't think ahead at all. But yeah, this kind of reinforces it, right? Because there isn't the motivation from fear. Like it's not moving you the
Yeah,
same way as it's like
yeah.
sometimes
Yeah,
like, but
it's so
yeah,
difficult. Even right now, if you're meant to, if I'm to think of something, there is no future. You can't think of the future. It's just become impossible. Or neither of the past. Everything is right now. It's just here. Uh, tell
yeah.
me,
But you
Dawn.
must make some plans. Like
Yes,
you
yes,
must,
yes. Of course, the plans have to be
but
made now for the future, but the
yeah, of
future is always
course.
now. Yeah. Dawn,
Yeah, and it's an
tell
expectation.
me, how can people who are watching this, number one, is there anything that you would like to add on that I may have missed out, that you would like anybody who's seeking, or like we call people who are on the path, seekers of truth, maybe that I have missed out that you would like to add on? And secondly, how can people get in touch with you, and what do you offer normally when you talk about non-duality?
Okay. What can I add? Well, just don't try to it's not a great idea to try to make an ideal of this or to try to live as if you're awake or to expect your emotions to be any which way afterwards as well, like because it really can be anything can arise and there's a tendency sometimes to deny things just because it doesn't fit in with this or maybe that's not right or before or after like I think that's why the therapy's kind of good angle as well. It's like I do not judge anyone and what they bring. So yeah, because you something unexpected might hit you, like, and it might knock you for six. But even after this, it may do. It doesn't. Yeah, and so you can reach me on my website, which is dawngarland.co.uk. That's really the best way to get in touch. And my meetings are on Meetup, so Dawn Garland,
Okay.
what is it, non-duality and integration on Meetup. So yeah, my next meeting's the 13th of this
Okay.
month.
Oh, you still conduct the home meetings?
Yeah, I'm doing. Yeah, I do in Hampstead and yeah. So yeah, I'm doing one this month. I didn't do one last month because
I think I saw some videos with some guys called Walter Hamish. Or
oh, Walter Driscoll. Yeah, I was doing. Yeah, he's a friend of mine, and yeah, we were doing stuff together, and then he was hosting stuff. And Hamish, yeah, Hamish Stansfeld. So he's got yeah, he does his own stuff as well, but he's got a big Kundalini, massive kriyas, mental, serious, massive kriyas going on like for quite a long time. So
okay.
yeah, like curious stuff. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Dawn. This has been absolutely uh joyful for me. I've had a blast. I've had a good laugh, and your life has been really it's adventurous. I mean, this is the kind of life that somebody would want to live. Right from, NDEs to suicide to awakening, boyfriend, love, everything. You've done it all. Being to the therapist to becoming a therapist.
Cheers.
So thank you so much for being on this and taking the time out.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Thanks.